Welcome to this running physio video on insertional tendinopathy in association with, trust me, I'm a physiotherapist. First up, let's talk about the role of compression of the tendon. Now, we think insertional tendinopathy develops partly because of compression of the enthesis against its bony attachment. Now, we're focused mainly on the Achilles here, which we know to be compressed against the superior calcaneus during dorsiflexion positions and many functional daily tasks. If we look then at a nice ultrasound image that Peter Gettings very kindly shared, what we can see here is in plantar flexion. There's lots of clear space between the Achilles and the calcaneum, but as we move into those deeper dorsiflexion positions, we start to get compression of the tendon and its enthesis against the calcaneum, and we think this can be potentially very provocative in the development of tendon symptoms and tendon pathology. If we move on to have a look at a video of that ultrasound there, again hopefully you can see the Achilles tendon and the calcaneum, and we highlight the area where we're thinking we're getting the site of compression. So there during dorsiflexion we're seeing the compression, and then it opens up during plantar flexion again. Now we know then that it's important to try and reduce some of this provocative compressive tendon load, especially when symptoms are severe or irritable. So this with the Achilles might mean taking away stretching the calf muscle, being careful with walking and running uphill in deep dorsiflexion positions. But there's a but. We do have to be a little bit careful that our message that compression is bad for the tendon doesn't have a negative impact. Now, I'm seeing patients sometimes some 18 months down the line from tendon problems who've been told not to compress the tendon who are still avoiding normal day-to-day activities. So people with proximal hamstring tendinopathy who perch on the edge of a couch on one side of their bottom to avoid any compression. So we have to be careful that we're not giving them a potentially really negative message, and that we let them know that compression is a normal thing and we do want to get them back to it. Important with tendons, we remember we're treating a person, not just a tendon. Now, we found actually that we've sort of screened tendon health with a lot of patients with tendon problems and found multiple things that can influence the tendon. And you can use our questionnaire. It's called TendonQ. You can look at the hashtag there on Twitter to access that. And part of what we found with this is lots of patients actually admit that they're worried about causing long-term damage to their tendon. So it's really important that we let them know that activity is good for the tendon. It's just a question of finding the right level. And we reassure them that their rehab isn't going to be damaging for the tendon. It's going to be very positive. Part of this involves choosing the right rehab at the right stage. So initially, perhaps when symptoms are very more severe, we might use isometric exercise to calm tendon down before moving on to isotonic through range loading and eventually returning to compressive and plyometric loads at the right stage. And this also means a gradual return to functional activity based on what the patient wants. So not seeing this as damaging, but working towards their goals. And here we see an example of proximal hamstring tendinopathy building up from simple non-compressive activities into challenging things like hill running. To find out more about tendon rehab, visit runningphysio.com or follow us on Twitter via @TomGoom and check out our hashtag #RunningRepairs.